In case you didn't have a Valentine today. Hello, happy Valentine's Day and welcome to Unpacked with Mac. Hi, my name is Mackenzie and today we are unpacking the history, origins, and traditions of Valentine's Day. Is it truly just a capitalist holiday capitalizing on consumers? Or is there a deeper meaning to the red roses, blue violets, and a whole lot of chocolate? Let's unpack. Now, it's important to note before we get into this video that while Valentine's Day is no longer considered to be a religious holiday, much of the origins have to do with Catholic, pagan, Roman, Christian, all of those different types of religious traditions. So there will be some talk of different stories, legends, and ceremonies performed in these different religions, but for those of you who, like me, have very limited knowledge in religion, I will do my best to break them down for you. Now, Valentine's Day consists of two main origin stories: the legend of Saint Valentine and Lupercalia, which was a pagan holiday. Starting with the legend of Saint Valentine. Now, while Saint Valentine is confirmed to be a real person, there's a lot of variety in the legends and stories that are told about him. But here's what we know, or at least what we think. Based on Catholic writings, there are 3 saints with some variation of the name Valentine. Although they all had slight variation, all saints were put to death at some point. But for the purposes of this video, we are going to be focusing on the Saint Valentine that was a priest serving in the Roman Empire. The emperor at the time, I'm so bad with names, Claudius II, believed that single men would be better soldiers and fighters for the Roman Empire. And he henceforth put forward a decree that young men could no longer be married. Kind of a sweet time to be a woman in Rome. Now, Saint Valentine heard of this decree and was not having it. In fact, he thought that it was very unjust and wrong and started his own service to perform secret weddings in private that the government wouldn't know about. Now, eventually, Claudius finds out about Valentine's little secret project and sentences him to death. But before his final breath, Valentine wrote one final letter to his lover and signed it, "From your Valentine." Now, I chose this version of the story to share. However, there are multiple variations on whether Saint Valentine was a bishop or a priest. There's one version where he falls in love with the emperor's daughter. There's tales of a secret lover visiting him in his jail cell. But the key things across all versions are his name was Valentine, he was sentenced to death, and he wrote a letter to his lover signing it as the first official Valentine. For years, Christians have believed and told that the date of Valentine's Day being in mid-February was an anniversary of Saint Valentine's death. However, much like Christmas, Valentine's Day was simply a conversion tactic covered in hearts and kisses. In case you don't know what I'm talking about with another conversion tactic holiday, I briefly mentioned in my story about the history of Christmas markets how Christmas was a holiday to convert pagans over to Catholicism. And I'm planning to do another video around Easter time about how Easter also relates to the conversion tactics used. But for the sake of Valentine's Day, we are going to be focusing on the pagan holiday of Lupercalia. Now, something I didn't mention in my Christmas video is that pagan is somewhat of an umbrella term. In fact, the Christians and Catholics essentially believed that everyone that did not believe in their God was just one religion and called them all pagans. So even though I haven't done a lot of research to confirm this, I'm pretty sure that the different holidays and stories could be from different regions of the world or even different religions, but today they're all grouped together as one greater pagan religion. Now the actual reason for placing Valentine's Day in mid-February was to coordinate the timing with Lupercalia, which was already being celebrated in the regions that they were trying to convert people from. And many of the reasons are the same for Christmas. It's a lot easier to make people feel like they are already part of the group if you celebrate similar things. And by kind of molding the two holidays together, the Catholics were able to create friendships and connections with this new group of people. And though it's not super important to the story, I do just want to share some of the traditions of Lupercalia because I found them fascinating to research, and I feel like you guys have to know too. The festival was dedicated to the Roman god of Faunus. Faunus? That sounds like faucet. I'm gonna go with Faunus. The Roman god of Faunus. The purpose of Lupercalia was to celebrate fertility. To explain the tradition simply, the Roman priests would go to this very specific cave that it was believed that the founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus, were raised by a wolf mother. The priests would then sacrifice 2 animals in the cave, a goat for fertility and a dog for purity. After the animals were sacrificed, they were skinned. The skins were dipped in blood and then ran through the towns and over the crop fields to hopefully fertilize the plants? Does blood fertilize? I know, not such a lovey-dovey holiday. Well, to end the celebration, all the maidens of the town slash city, depending on how big Rome was at the time, put their names into a giant bucket, and then all of the young suitors and men would come pluck a name out of the bucket, and those 2 would be paired up for an entire year. And most of these pairings resulted in the pair falling in love and eventually marrying each other. Hence the correlation to the holiday and month of love. Now, as Catholicism and Christianity spread through Rome, Lupercalia became outlawed as encouragement to the locals to begin celebrating the feast of Saint Valentine instead. Initially, at the end of the 5th century, Pope Gelasius announced the permanent date for the holiday to be February 14th, a date that has stuck through to the 21st century. Valentine's picked up popularity primarily around the Middle Ages as a result of poetry becoming a form to express love. So then what's with all the stuff that I didn't mention? What about the flowers, the candy, Cupid? Well, flowers and candy are just a modernized version of the cards that were originally used as Valentines. And honestly, in my opinion, it goes back to it just being like a capitalist holiday. Cupid, however, is based on the Greek god of Eros. He's known as the god of love and has quite the reputation for meddling and playing with the feelings of humans. Side note, but I find it so funny that the commercialization of the holiday led to a symbol based on a Greek god, even though the rest of the holiday is actually based in Roman tradition. Though I clown a little bit on the commercial use as the holiday, it's all in good fun and a great reminder to go tell your family and friends that you love them. With that, thank you so much for watching. You are all my Valentine. And with that, this video is all packed up. Bye!